This is an INGENIUM University podcast.
Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the INGENIUM Podcast. My name is Jeremiah Spillane, and I'm based at Munster Technological University in Cork, Ireland. And in this, our second episode, Thomas Broderick and I share some conversations we had with staff from across our University Alliance who were visiting the 2025 Winter School at XAMK University's campus in Mikkeli, Finland. This episode features 2 conversations. The first with Ines Nikšić from the University of Skövde in Sweden, and the second with Lisa Riedel from HKA Karlsruhe, University of Applied Sciences in Germany. Both Ines and Lisa were attending the winter school in different capacities for INGENIUM, and it was great to get these different perspectives of the various happenings at the winter school and of course to learn a little bit more about their own institutions. So first up then, we caught up with Ines Nikšić, who is a lecturer in Swedish and is the internationalization coordinator at the School of Health Sciences at the University of Skövde. Ines gave us some great insight into her role as a member of staff mentoring students at the winter school, and drew on her background as a linguist to give us some insight into the value of these experiences for the students in terms of cultural collaboration. We began by asking Ines to tell us a little bit about herself and the University of Skövde.
Yes, thank you for having me. So my name is Ines Nikšić. I come here from the University of Skövde in Sweden, where I work as a lecturer in the Swedish language. I teach mostly Swedish for international students, so I have also some other informal activities for the students, like we have the Language and Culture Cafe, and we also did a book club last term. So a lot of language and culture.
Nice.
And Ines, you're the first guest from the University of Skövde, so it's great to have you here. So you might just maybe tell the listeners something about the region, maybe what it's known for, and also maybe something interesting about the university.
So I would say that the most interesting thing is our location. The university is located somewhere between Gothenburg and Stockholm, but rather close. And it's a smaller city having everything close. So this word close is really what defines us. We're close to nature. You still have the 2 biggest cities rather close. The airport's rather close, but not in the city. Most of the things are available walking distances. We have also this closeness in how we interact with each other, with the students, the student-lecturer relationship as well. So what we are most known in Sweden, we are one of the best universities when it comes to game development, but we offer a variety of other fields. So we have engineering, informatics, as I said, game development. We also offer education in health, behavior and biosciences, as well as in business. So a really wide range. What defines us also is this interdisciplinarity. We do a lot of interdisciplinary work and close collaboration with the local society and industries. So collaboration, closeness.
So in speaking to you over the last few days, you've been telling us a little bit about your engagement with INGENIUM. I think you've attended a number of the 10 days of INGENIUM events, if I'm right. So I'm just curious, about your experience of INGENIUM and maybe why you got involved as a student mentor for this junior winter school in Finland.
Yeah, that's right. I've attended the first 10 days as a member of the Staff Academy. So I was presenting at the Staff Academy in Chieti Pescara. And last year I was in Ireland as the mentor for the junior winter school. So the way we have done it for now is that it's me and a colleague of mine, Karin, who hold this role of mentors. So we have had division like that, winter and summer junior school. But I loved the experience last year of mentoring the students, and I wanted to do it again. I think it's always so inspiring to get to meet students from our partner universities and be in the room with the students. So as a mentor now, for example, in these activities, I mostly sit and observe. We're not invited to engage that much. So just sitting there and listening to 5 students from different cultures, different countries interact, I enjoy that very, very, very much.
Yeah, and is there any other, from your perspective as a staff member, what are the most kind of rewarding aside from the engagement of students, what are the most rewarding, engaging elements of the 10 days?
For me personally, I get inspired. I get inspired by the students and their drive and their dreams and the way they talk about education. I think it's a great reminder for me as a lecturer why I do the job that I do. I also think it's really inspiring to meet colleagues from the other universities and all the informal talks that we get to do around all of the activities. I think that's where we really have the time to engage and get to know each other and get to know about what you do and your fields and, you know.
Yeah, and I think we've obviously spent a bit of time with you the last few days, Ines, and we've had some good fun, and I think your positive energy is, you're a great person to be around, so I'm sure you've been an inspiration to the students as a staff mentor.
You mentioned a while ago that you are observing here as a student mentor, and I think you've also done the same at the junior school in Ireland. And can you tell us a bit more about your experience of kind of observing the students and what your takeaways have been, what reflections you have on that?
Yeah, I think seeing how the students benefit from the junior winter school it's so rewarding. So I see them improving their intercultural competence in real life, and as someone whose biggest interests lie in multilingualism and interculturality, it's an amazing experience. So also seeing the students getting out of their comfort zone, they have this hands-on learning in teams that are highly intercultural, multicultural, cross-cultural. I think that the junior winter school is a great possibility for internationalization, since throughout our 10 universities there are different levels of internationalization, and in the opportunities that the students get into contact with people from other cultures. Also, what is most striking to me every year is to learn that the junior winter school is the only possibility for some of the students to experience mobility. So I think it's a great thing. Not everybody has the possibility to do a term abroad. So we still offer this possibility of, get to travel, interact with others, and grow interculturally, which is the biggest skill we need to foster in students these days.
Yeah, and it's supposed to have as well, like 10 universities coming together. You get that like expansive people from different backgrounds, different history, different cultural norms. So it's great that our students
fields
get
of
exposure.
Studies. Yeah, and we talk often about 10 universities, 10 countries, 11 languages, but when you get to talk to the students, it's actually so much more. So many more languages as first languages, so many different cultural backgrounds, and then the fields of studies, which is, I think it's inspiring.
Yeah.
If I was a staff member listening and saying, I'd like to work with students and engage with students, like you've described, would you recommend that, or why would you recommend it?
Absolutely. I think it comes back to what I said earlier. You, as a staff member, would get inspired, I believe, for being in this close relationship with the student. As a lecturer, you sometimes lecture. But how much do we have the time to observe our students interacting and hear what the students want, need?
Yeah, that goes back to some of the other conversations we've been having as well about the idea of co-creation and kind of, bringing the student voice more to inform the teaching.
Yeah,
and I had the pleasure earlier of going in, attending one of the sessions with the students, and when you go in the room, you feel the energy. There's real positivity and a kind of lovely space, I think, learning space for people to maybe express themselves and learn from each other. So it's good. It's a lovely place to be. So
in addition to the in-class activities that they have here during the day at the junior school, there are loads of opportunities for them to, kind of socialise in the evenings at dinners, and also the different activities that have been planned here at SAMP. And there are just amazing opportunities for the students as well, I think.
Absolutely, and I think also from a linguistic perspective, we presume that all of the students speak English, but the levels of English differ. And being in this situation, in this classroom where you have English as a lingua franca, but with many different accents, I think this is really beneficial for the growth also in this aspect.
Yeah, and actually, in addition to language, then there's like the cultural differences. And so I think it's so valuable for them to learn to navigate all that, like you said, language, kind of cultural kind of differences and how they approach meeting and collaboration
and mostly stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, you're so used to speaking. We often get clustered and we speak to people who study the same thing, come from the same background and speak the same language, but just getting out of that bubble, and here it's getting out of the bubble times 3. So you meet someone who has another language, another cultural background and another field, and they're like, wow, how am I going to do this? And then I believe that most students go back home from this experience feeling so proud of themselves for being able to engage during the whole week.
Yeah,
and even talking to students, I think they mention about it can be intense here. They have a lot to do, and I think part of that intensity is actually consciously thinking about who they're talking to, how they're talking, getting to know people in a space. So, you know, it is challenging, and it is a great opportunity for students, as you said there, to step out of their comfort zone, challenge themselves, and maybe really learn about other cultures and learn, you know, to grow themselves and come out of use of that narrow space into a more broader perspective of other cultures.
And that's what's going to be most valuable for them, whatever they end up doing in life, you know, is this belief that they can do it. They can step out of the comfort zone, and it's going to be beneficial.
Ines, you've done a lot, you know, within the INGENIUM is outside of the 10 days and at the 10 days. Is there any other initiatives you want to maybe share with the listeners?
Yeah, I can mention that I'm a representative for the work package 9.3. It's called a Multilingual and Intercultural Alliance. I'm also part of the research group with colleagues from other universities that tackled intercultural competences.
Yeah, just another maybe question around the staff listening who you know haven't engaged with INGENIUM. You know, you're in a great position to maybe inform them about the different areas. What advice would you give to those staff members that maybe haven't been to an INGENIUM 10 days or haven't been involved in the initiative or work packages?
Take the first step, get out of your comfort zone, contact someone that you know is INGENIUM in your university who can guide you through. I think INGENIUM is a great possibility for staff to explore collaboration, to get inspired, to learn how things are done at other universities. It's an amazing opportunity for staff members. Not only because it's super fun to be here, you know, as I said, all of this informal, but through different workshops and activities that are organized for staff and a networking in the end. You know, this is an international networking at its best. You know, we talk about, oh, this is what I do. Oh, this is what I do. Oh, maybe we could do something together.
I wonder if you were to sum up your experience of INGENIUM in the summer school in maybe 1 or 2 or 3 words, maybe how would you do that?
Oh, I think I can do it with 1 word. I would say creativity. This is really fostering creativity in many different ways. So first, like this creativity to solve problems, to work, to tackle on the projects that they have to work, but also creativity, as we spoke before, about communicating with other students. In which way do I say this and how do I say this? So there is a lot of creativity going on.
So that was Ines Nikšić talking about her experience at the 2025 INGENIUM Winter School at XAMK. I think Ines really highlighted the opportunity this experience gives the students in terms of intercultural experience and mobility, and for staff also to observe, support and learn from their students in these international contexts. So thank you to Ines for taking the time to speak with us. Next up, we hear from Lisa Riedel, who is Work Package Coordinator for the INGENIUM European Campus at HKA Karlsruhe University of Applied Sciences. Tom caught up with Lisa at the Winter School at XAMK to hear a little bit about Karlsruhe and the work that Lisa is involved in. Lisa also gave us an inside look into her work for the INGENIUM European Campus and how that involves bringing together staff and students across our 10 universities, as well as introducing us to the INGENIUM Pathway framework.
Lisa, you're the first guest from HKA Karlsruhe University of Applied Sciences. So you might start off by telling us a little bit about maybe the area and also the university.
So Karlsruhe is in the southwest of Germany, and it is a very warm place in the summertime, and it's even in the wintertime, it's very, very mild to be there. And what I personally like so much about it is that it has all the perks of a large city, but yet it is manageable to walk everywhere and also use the bicycle. We have public transportation if the weather is bad, but you are not, you don't have to use it. So there are lots of alternatives, and I think that makes Karlsruhe very livable, very enjoyable.
And you mentioned the bikes. I think that's maybe that area, regions where would be well known for being a bikeable city and an area. Would you cycle to work? Do you use the bike?
I certainly would. It is great because we do have a lot of infrastructure for bikes. We have roads where bikes have the priority over cars, and we even have a lot of rentable bikes, like those new e-scooters that are everywhere. And the bicycles are for free for students. For each 30 minutes, they can just hop on and off. And you don't need more time to get anywhere in Karlsruhe, so that's perfect. Why do we have so many bikes, you might ask? Karl Benz, who invented the bike ages ago, and he lived in Karlsruhe for quite some time. So the bike has importance for the region, and we even have a professor who is researching on bicycles and mobility with bicycles, how that works in cities. So yeah, everything around the bike in Karlsruhe.
That's great. It must lead to a very maybe healthy campus, maybe green campus as well. So it sounds like a lovely area. So yeah, you've sold us on that, Lisa. I think everyone listening will try and see the next time they can go to Karlsruhe. Lisa, it might be nice to hear about your role in the INGENIUM project.
Yeah. So I am the work package coordinator for what we call the INGENIUM European Campus. And what we are trying to achieve is a joint educational offer for students to enroll in, but also for staff to engage in, to facilitate teaching, maybe at another partner university, maybe create new study programs together, or also create more flexible study programs for students to take a sneak peek at areas that they might be interested in. We are also trying to encourage any staff member or students to be in mobility, visit one of the 10 partner universities in, for example, a staff mobility, so that you can do a job shadowing and learn how does admissions work at MTU, or how does admissions work in Finland, for example, and how is it similar or different from what you do in your day-to-day business. And then we also have opportunities for students during our 10 days of INGENIUM, where we have the junior school for bachelor students, or the senior school and PhD days for master students and doctoral students. So there's a lot of variety in the work package that we try to bring together and engage everyone in the European University in.
So we're here at the junior school and the 10 days INGENIUM. What activities are you involved in on this trip?
I am involved in a work package meeting, so I have counterparts in all 9 other universities. I do have the coordinating role, but obviously I cannot change anything or have impact in 10 cities, 10 universities at the same time. So we get here together and meet and try to advance what we're currently working on. And I always try to do this in a workshop atmosphere, because we meet online once a month. But it's so different if we can get engaged in person and have discussions and think out loud. It's so much more rewarding when you are on site and get to see the people. Also, you get to know them a little bit outside of the work context, and that always helps also to bring the group together and work on the group dynamic to make us more successful when working towards all of those educational offers for the European University.
Yeah, and I think you touched on something there, Lisa, that I'm going to kind of reiterate, because I think it's really important. The space and the opportunity provided here to bring people together and have those conversations, I think makes a lot more meaningful. And I think when you have a connection with people, it allows to more productive work and, maybe getting more done. And it's nice to meet people outside of the workspace and get to know them. So I think that's one of the real positives of the 10 days of INGENIUM. For you so far, Lisa, what's maybe the most rewarding aspect of of your role?
I think it's definitely getting together in this intercultural context, visiting the different partner universities, learning how they work and fully understanding it. Sometimes you only learn what questions to ask when you are there and when you try to understand how it works, and that things that I may take for granted because that's the way we do it at HKA may be entirely different at any of the other partners, but I'm simply not aware of it. So engaging in those discussions and also giving free space for everyone to come up with ideas and having the opportunity to just think out loud and share thoughts, that has been very rewarding, and I enjoy that a lot, to just have conversations. Not just when we are in the work atmosphere, but we often get to do like city tours where we can learn more about the cities we are visiting with. And then suddenly there are ideas that are bouncing off, and there's so much creativity floating around, and you simply don't get it so much when you are meeting online. So I think just getting together in person is one of the most rewarding and enjoyable aspects of this job for me.
And Lisa, one you do very well. I think you've a lovely way about you. You're very personable, very easy to engage with, interact, and I think that's really important when people are meeting. So I just want to say, just acknowledge that and say, you know, well done for that. And I think it's a genuine interest of enhancement and working collaboration. So what are you excited about right now, Lisa? Is there anything exciting you're working on?
Yes. So hot off the press almost, we have created what we call the INGENIUM Pathway framework. It sounds very theoretical for now, and it might not be so interesting when you just hear the title. But what we essentially mean is that what we want to try to take a study program, any study program we have on bachelor's level or master's level, and try to make it more flexible. So my background is I studied art history in university. So that is a straightforward subject. You know, I can look into the different art epochs and learn about those things. But what would have been really beneficial would have been if I were to study a little bit of business administration, for example, or if I were to look into how can we use technology in the restoration of art history, of artworks, for example. I would have been very interested in looking at taking a subject that would allow me to do this. And with this INGENIUM Pathway, we are trying to give students the opportunity to follow their national program with the core subjects that enable them to be a mechanical engineer at the end, but then also provide them with the opportunity to take horizontal modules from any other field. It can be related. It can also be something entirely different because they want to tailor-made their program because they see a certain need, because they went on an internship and they see, okay, as a mechanical engineer, I should also be very familiar with robotics or whatever comes to their mind. And then a third pillar is looking at transversal skills, because we are all living in a world that is adjusting and changing so fast. So we need to equip our students with a skill set to follow it and to do project work and to live in an intercultural world. And so with those three pillars, we're trying to make study programs more customized for students' needs and desires, and to prepare them for the future work world. And that is something that I'm pretty excited about. So so we have the framework now, and the next step is we're working towards implementing those so that each partner university has something like that to offer for their students in the future.
That is very exciting, Lisa. And people will then be able to go into a space and see what's available across the different universities.
Exactly.
A step closer to maybe this open university and the European campus.
Yes. So what we've done actually here while we are during the 10 days, we started to look at what is out there, because of course we're 10 partners, we have a huge offer of study programs, but we need to know, if I am looking at mechanical engineering from an HKA perspective, I need to learn who else has a mechanical engineering so that we can map like the core elements of the study program. But we also need to learn more about what else is out there. Mechanical engineering could also go towards medical instruments, and then how can I get this interdisciplinary information that I might need for the study program? Where is this available? And that is the beauty of our 10 universities. We are so diverse and we offer such a wide range of opportunities. So we've done the first step now while we were here at XAMK, and now we continue to work towards the implementation of those pathways.
We'd like to wish you all the best with it. It does sound very exciting. Lisa, if I was listening here and I'm saying, God, that's something I'd like to get involved in, maybe I haven't been involved to date, but it's something, it sounds interesting. Is the best person to contact you? Is that where they...
For the pathways, absolutely yes.
Great. So we'll put your LinkedIn and profile in the show notes so people can connect with you, your email details, if that's okay with you.
You are welcome to do so.
Great. So there might also be people in general that want to connect with Karlsruhe. Maybe they say these opportunities that they've seen. Actually, there's a course here that is similar to something in Karlsruhe that we would like to get involved in. What's the best way for those people to connect with you guys?
We do have a general email address for INGENIUM at HKA. You can put those in the show notes as well. And that way is always easiest to contact the whole team. And then depending on your inquiry, we are circulating it amongst us. Our INGENIUM partner coordinator, that is Marie Ruppel-Wie, and she usually is the face of HKA when we talk locally, when we talk to professors, etc. So Marie, she is the point of contact, or of course also our INGENIUM at h-ka.de address.
Thank you, Lisa. We're here in the 10 days. I think we're into day 3 now.
Yes.
What have you enjoyed about this particular 10 days of INGENIUM?
Meeting so many people again, and so many for the first time. I get to go to 1 week of the 10 days of INGENIUM every time it happens. So what I enjoy so much is that how people evolve and how people feel more comfortable working together. So I remember when we all first met, everyone was a bit shy, and now when we are at registration Monday morning and we see the familiar faces, it's a little bit like a high school reunion because we're so excited to see each other again. And it just makes such a difference to see each other in person. So that is always the most rewarding when you get here in the mornings and just start chatting as if you haven't seen each other in person for like half a year. So I love that.
So that was Lisa Riedel from HKA Karlsruhe University of Applied Sciences. Thank you to Lisa for taking time to speak with us, and it was great to hear about her work on INGENIUM's European Campus and on the INGENIUM Pathway framework. If you would like to find out more about this and how your university can engage with Lisa's work on the Pathway framework, you can reach out to her and her team via the contact details in the show description. That is all for this episode. Thanks once again to Ines and Lisa. Thanks to you for tuning in, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please do like, share, and all that good stuff. And do, of course, keep a lookout for upcoming episodes. Until next time, bye-bye.